Right, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, good afternoon. Sunny afternoon here in England. What I hope to achieve from today, I'm starting a bit late because it's well, 2:30 in the afternoon, is to start work on a lightweight tarp. Number of people, quite surprised by the number of people that are actually interested in all this, have asked me to, if I make another one, to actually make a little how-to video. So I'll attempt to do that. What I've gone for is some very lightweight ripstop nylon, and I hope this is going to show up well on the camera, in a DPM pattern. I've got 10 metres of this, so that's more than enough to make the tarp, and a few little modifications that I'm going to do from the last one. That more of that and how I want to adapt this tarp will come out in later on. But there we are. It's very lightweight material, got a greenie on one side. British DPM. It's a kind of subdued DPM, which I quite like, to be honest. And inside this material, it's not showing up, it's got very small 5mm squares, so it is actually a very strong ripstop nylon. I think it's a little bit noisy. However, like I say, I'm going for lightweight. I'll bring it out a little bit more. As you can see, I'm 6 foot. The old thing one. Most of these materials come in at sort of 1.5 metre lengths, widths, so they're that wide. So let's just have a quick look at how wide that is. Yeah, that's going to 158, which is good because, as you'll see, at the end it's got the little frayed bits, and you're going to need just to like cut that little bit off there and that, because it's got like loads of puncture holes down it. So the easiest way I'm going to do this, I want to do this as a 3 metre by 3 metre tarp, because the brown one I've got, I realise that when it's in the A-frame configuration, I need it slightly longer just to actually run a hammock underneath and have no part of the hammock extruding or coming out the sides of the actual tarp itself. So this one I am going to be designing specifically to use with a hammock rather than ground dwelling, although as you'll see with some modifications it will be dual purpose, I can use it for either, but I'm going to specifically design it a little bit longer than I would normally have it, just to cover a hammock. The way I'm going to do it is, it's 150 that way, bearing in mind I'm going to lose a little bit when I hem it up, and you'll see me do that. So I'm going to cut, I'm not going to video me doing it, 2 lengths of 3 metres. Okay, so it's 3 metres that way, and 1.5 metres by 1.5 metres when it's sewn together down this edge. Okay, to make it a large square, which is what it will be 3 metres by 3 metre tarp. And again, there's the old material. Bought it on eBay. Depending on where you are in the world, I'm sure you're going to go and research your own material. I bought a few bits of material from this seller. Always had a very good deal, because what they normally do is I contact them via email, they send me an invoice to my email, and we kind of make it a little bit cheaper than it's stated on eBay, which always very much works for me. And it means that, you know, PayPal and, well, we cut out a lot of the cost just to keep it that way. So well, the next time you see this video, I will have cut 2 3 metre lengths. Okay, so when I sew it together, 150 times 150, it is going to be a 3 by 3 tarp when I actually start to do the sewing. So on that, I shall see you, ladies and gentlemen, in a moment. Right, ladies and gentlemen, to get the up to that wooden bar is exactly 3 metres. You can see I've just left a little bit on this side. That will just allow for, that's like 3.5 inches, something like that, just for some of the turning over to make hems. So that's 3 metres down this way. Now if it's 3 metres and a diddy bit, don't be like stressing out about it, it takes some of the fun away from the project. The only thing I'll say that was crucial is getting to both pieces of material that you're going to sew down this side. Okay, if you can get them exactly the same length, whatever that length is, okay, it's going to make making the tarp and hemming it all around easier later on. So the way I do it, I've got my original piece on the ground there, quite hard really because I haven't got many places in the house where I've got a straight 3 metre run. I then now, and I'll show just, I'm going to lay this piece, obviously we can see the different colour, literally right over the other piece there, underneath the bricks, roll it out, and then I'm going to use that first one as a guide to cut the second one. So thereby they're going to be sort of less than sort of a few millimetres here or there. Both sides will be, or both sheets will be exactly the same size. That's quite an easy way to do it. You can do all the measuring up you want and that as well, but you can still make mistakes. So that edge you can put up against that, roll it out, and then I've got an exact guide as to where I will be down the line cutting that one. Obviously then I've got two sheets 3 metres and a bit wide to then sew up into, you know, a full size tarp. Anyway, that's just a little tip that I use. Just helps if both pieces of material, whatever length they are exactly or near as damn it the same size. So again, I'll see you later. Right, ladies and gents, I've cut both sections of tarp. I've just put one the opposite way around just so it has a little more contrast. Now this is the sew line that I'm going to come down, and this will be in the middle of my tarp where I'm doing this French seam. So as we can see here, I'll try and get in close. You see from there to there, that's the end of the roll, and there's little pinholes there. So I'm going to cut literally on both ones hems, because this will be my hem line, roughly there. So I've got to now go in, sit there and very carefully cut about that much off to get rid of that, and also about there just to get rid of that. So I've got a top in the mouth there. So all the way down this one and that one, I'm now going to cut a line, and again you can roughly see where the tip of the pen is, see it better on that one, how far I want to cut all the way down, just so I get a nice clean line. And the wind never helps, does it? That will be sewn to that one to make the double size. Remember I said it's 1.5 metres long, sorry, wide should I say, and then two sewn together will be 3 metres. As we can see here, that's how I've actually made sure both are exactly the same size. So using one as a guide that I measured out, and then the other one just cut to exactly the same size as the first one. And that's 3 metres long, slightly more than 3 metres as I said, because you're best off doing that just to allow for a bit of the hemming up, which you'll see me doing later on. So that's how I've cut out the two pieces of equal size material. So I shall see you in a moment. I'm not going to stand there and let you watch me cut that piece off, but when I sew these two sheets together, this will be my sew line, so I need to get rid of all that gas. I'll try and bring it in closer so you can see. I think most materials are finished off like this, so I'm going to cut about there, just getting rid of all that crap. Right, see you later ladies and gents. Right ladies and gentlemen, I've took that hem off, you've just seen the picture of that. Now this is how, I think this is why I can show you how I make what I know to be a French seam. Now obviously camouflage to camouflage, because I'm sewing it up inside out, so make sure you do that. Don't do it the opposite way because you'll end up, so be careful of that, yeah. So it's camouflage to camouflage, outer to outer. Now I could just do a seam all the way down there and that would leak, okay, so the French seam. So I'm not going to show you me doing this on a sewing machine because you've all seen me sew before, but literally I'm going to make one line of stitching all the way down there, and you'll notice that this has got at least sort of about an inch, okay, gap, because once I've done that down there, okay, to make the little French seam, once I've done that, I'm going to put it back on the machine starting from this side, and then I will fold that over like I've done there, and you see where the middle of my finger is there, I will do another stitch down there, right, which is above the first stitch. The first stitch will be there, okay, that's just stitching the two bits of material. So then I'm going to bring that round and over and do another line of stitching down there. So that's where I'm going to get that tunnel inside the tarp, okay. And I think I showed you that on the first one, so if you're interested in building a tarp, you're obviously watching this one. Literally, so it's one line of stitching down there, which I'll show you once I've done it, and then I'm going to, so that will be together, and again DPM to DPM, because we've all done it, so like one side that, you know, inside out, if that makes sense. So DPM to DPM, one row of stitching down there. Once I've finished that, I'm going to put it back on the machine, take that piece of material, fold it over again. So I've hidden the first line of stitching, and the second line of stitching, if any water comes through that, it will drop into that, which will be like a little drain pipe loop and go all the way down inside the tarp rather than sort of dripping through me. Not that I've ever had water come through, but if I do, the water will come through the stitching into the inside of this loop that I will be making, and just go down, follow the easiest path and come down either side of the tarp, not drip directly on me. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what you need to be doing. Once you've got both sides cut out, roughly the same sort of side, one row of stitching, fold it over and come back down. So you then got a 3 metre by 3 metre tarp with no hemming any way around. The only hemming you've got is when you join the two parts. So I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll probably a bit of swearing later on, because sometimes people think this is easy and a joy. If the machine comes unthreaded and stuff like that, it can get quite frustrating, but you just got to keep going on with it. So I'll see you later. Right, ladies and gents, so I just brought it into the sunlight so you can see it. There's my first row of stitching all the way down there. A simple stitch line, nothing fancy stitching. So when I next put it back on the machine, I'm going to turn, let me have to sort of show you this. There's the one line of stitching there. To make that French seam, I'm going to turn that over and literally sew down there again. Okay, so that's how it's done. Yeah, one bit longer, sew it down, and then you'll use that longer bit to turn over and do another line of stitching down there. So that's what I'm going to do now. I don't think I can oh yeah, there's the stitching, turn that over and do a line of stitching down there all the way down, so you've got that overlay on it. And see the bottom bit here where my fingers are, that's going to be where like a little drain pipe or funnel, because you've sewed that any stitch. Water coming through the stitching allegedly will drop into there and run down either side of the tarp and not inside of it. So that's what I'm going to do now then. Right, started hemming it round the actual outer edges of it. There's one that I've already done. It's well, I cut the fur a bit off. Show you that. So that's just the bit that's on the edge of the actual material itself. Cut 3-4 millimeters. Cut it all off, all the way around. You get rid of that. Then I'm left with that. Now to seal that seam, I'm going to turn it over so it's about 5 or 6 millimeters turned over, like that. Then turn it over again, making sure that's underneath, until it's about, roughly about that, about an inch. That's up to yourself, but I would say that is the minimum that you want it to go. So it's turned over 5 millimeters, then turned over again, and I like to do it about an inch. Then simply under the machine, adjust your tension, get it set up to run. Again, see I'm folding that one bit over, so that will seal in the seam as I go down, and I want it about an inch. Okay, every time you start a stitch, go backwards, just seal that, make sure that bit's underneath. You have a nice long bit, and you can do this by hand, by eye. I suppose you could put a load of pins in down there, but that's just going to increase the time. Sometimes I've done that when I've been working with very tough material, but this is lightweight, so it's allowing me to fold that bit underneath, keep it underneath there, and just sew as I go, using my eye as a guide. Then you're making this, it don't have to be inch perfect, part of the beauty of it when you make something, but you'd be quite surprised in how accurate you can get it. And again, it's not very hard to do, but in small manageable stages. Again, bring your material back, make sure you've got your fold over, and then about an inch. So I'm just going to keep doing that. Let's say we usually go down all 4 sides of the tarp. And I do one, and obviously you're going to do it 4 times. So I folded it over, make sure it's at least 5mm underneath, and sewing down this edge. Again, come back, free all your material, take one through your machine nice, fold it over, 5mm, 6mm, and I've now got an inch grab there. It's got a little bit more than an inch there, so here we go. And that's just a normal sewing machine stitch, no flash or fancy stitches as yet. Helps if you don't have your chair leg on the top. So again, I'm going to fold it over slightly, 5mm, grab it for about an inch. And with this, I do like to pull it nice and tight as it's going through the machine, and let the foot pressure take it as opposed to dragging it through, because it's lightweight material. A little bit, I say boring and laborious, but think of the money you're saving, and you're actually building something yourself, so you know it's half decent. So there we go. Again, you've got the fold over so it will seam the seam, but how the depth of that if you want, but I would say always make that about an inch. Just means you're going to lose an inch all round, and lads, what's an inch between blokes, eh? For getting something done properly. That just made my wife smile. She's sat over there in the corner. Again, fold it over, grab about an inch, let it feed through. Bit of a mistake about using the sewing machine, that there's something specialist or highly trained, or you know, loads and loads of hours of learning. I'm using simple stitches and just a lot of common sense as to how I'm actually going to build things. So literally all I'm doing is folding material over here. And that's what you'll be doing with this tarp, just folding material over and sewing it down. No fancy cutting out, nothing that anybody can't do themselves. They're going on and not pull it nice and tight, but just let the machine take it through under its own steam. Start pulling it too much and you'll end up bending or breaking your needle. So it's folded under, that's going to seal it. And again, grabbing about an inch. Let's make sure I've got that bit. And here we go. Fold it under. Grab an inch. Fold it under. Grab an inch. And bring that, when I come to the end here, you'll see me just hit the back button and that'll just seal that stitch. Okay, and I'll take this out into the sunlight so you can see it more. All I've done is hem one side. Now to do the next one, you're going to do it on all four sides. I'll just show you how I actually start it off. You've seen me, that's ×4 what you've just seen there. But that one, I'm going to fold it over about 5mm and then fold it over to it's about an inch. So I'm going to do exactly what I did before. Make sure it's nice and squared up. Drop your foot on, fold it under, and once you get it started off nicely, the rest should follow. So I'm holding it there about 5 and 5. Right, not happy with that. Do that a bit better. There we go, about 5 and 5. So it really does pay to get it set off nicely, or started off nicely. There we go. Again, coming in, just go back and lock that stitch. And again, as you've seen me do before, all the way down, same steam. Again, I'm going to keep doing that now. I'm going to do it all the way around, all 4 sides of the tarp. You've seen how it's done and how I fold it over on another corner. Obviously, I'm not going to bore you to death. So I'll see you in a moment. Right, ladies and gents, here we go again. This is the tarp. I've sewed it up. I've hemmed it all the way around and I've sewn both parts together. Bringing in for some closer looking at the stitches and the steams. But that's just slightly under, a smidgen under 3 metres by 3 metres. Okay, now I'm going to come down into this edge, and as we can see here, that's the top, lovely DPM. Underneath, I've literally just hemmed it all the way around, 5 metres underneath, and then sewed it all the way down. I think we can see the stitching there. Okay, and that stitching don't need to be too flash, because that's all you need to actually do. So I've gone around every single side doing that. And here we come to the middle seam, one that sews both together. Again, French loop in there, so a French seam. So when you see that on the other side, all you see is one row of stitching. Any water going through there will drop into said loop and drop away. Now when you're making this tarp, I've never known it to, but the moment it does, I may do it anyway, you just get some silicone seam sealer and go down that seam. That way, you know, all sort of commercially made tarps have it. Can't see why I won't do that. So that's probably what I'm going to do with this one, because it is a very lightweight material. But if it comes through that first set of stitching, obviously, see what I mean there? It's quite hard to sort of verbally describe. It will come down into that channel, a drain pipe, I suppose, all the way down and drop there, because that will be always going downhill as opposed to going uphill once that tarp's set up. Bring you down here to the corner, because it's getting a little bit late now and it looks like it's going to have a little shower tonight. But on the corners, because this is a lightweight material, I've got some 2 ounce sort of nylon. This is the sort of stuff, you know, I do the bottom of my trousers with. I've cut out a square this time, or a slight bit of bomb. The next thing I'm going to do is sew that onto each of the 4 corners. Okay, so I'm just going to reinforce every single corner and the middle bit there, and I will sew a smaller bit about that big on there, because that's going to be another a pressure point. That'll all make a little bit of sense once I've gone round and done that. But that's the next thing. That's only taken me an hour, probably take me a lot longer because I've been filming, but an hour to sew the 2 bits of material together down the middle and hem it all the way up around the sides. I've cut 4 bits of these material out, and there's going to be another one, so in between this corner and that corner there's going to be another major line where I'll either have a bungee or a paracord or some sort of stretching device, so I want that just reinforced. So it's got to actually look not indifferent to something like that. Again, you decide what shape they are. Some people do them triangle. Right, ladies and gentlemen, tight wad here the next day. Somebody dropped round so I had to stop work on the tarp, but here we see the tarp laid out. My Boudica, my boxer puppy, thinks it's brilliant, but I'll come closer, you can see that seam down the middle, and where I left you, I just hemmed the tarp all the way round. On each corner, on every stress point, what I've since done is sewed a piece of reinforcing material on there, and that's just like sort of 4 ounce Cordura nylon. Not expensive in any way. You can make that a triangle if you want or whatever. I've just preferred the square underneath. There is a reason why I haven't sewed the webbing loops on here. I'll explain that as we go on, but this is what they would all look like. Buddy, back stop it, buddy. Alright, that's the price of having a beautiful mad boxer. Here we can see, obviously on this side I just went for the triangle side. Oh, Goody likes it as well. And I've sewed the loop on. Right, hang on, I'm going to have to do something about me dog. Right, I've just calmed down a bit now. So there is, I've done that. This is going to be the middle point, the main stress point. I've done it in a triangle. Hopefully you can see. Sewing, not too posh, but each time these are separate stitches. So if that one goes, and that one goes. Yes, Boo, did you like that? And there's my loop where I'll attach either a paracord or bungees, and I had some laying about, very cheap as chips off the internet. Booty, you naughty girl. Stop it. Is a simple D-ring there. So in actual fact, that would, you know, if I had paracord coming down, it would be tied to there, or a bungee, and then obviously water would drop off from there and not go underneath my basher. I will do between that point and that point, all the way around, I will do another securing loop here. Not as big as that, because this is just where, if it was coming down, I would just want it pegged right into the ground. So it doesn't need to be as strong as that one. And as we can see, there is the underneath that one. Right, Buddy, stop it. She thinks this is dead fun. Bless her, I don't want to tell her off too much, because she's only a puppy, aren't you? You're only a puppy. And again, I've done this at 4 sides. These ain't going to be the corners, because they're the one that's going to hit the ground, and that's the one that's going to hit the ground, and that's going to be like where my ridge line goes down. Okay, so I've done 4 of these so far. Again, one this side of the tarp, and then one the other side of the tarp. Alright, well, I'll leave you with a view of my beautiful boxer, and I'm going to show you this sort of up on a piece of paracord, a taut line. Anyway, see you in a second. Booty, stop it. Right, ladies and gents, obviously on each corner, to finish this, and all you'll need to do is literally do as I've done there. Sew a piece of your nylon material, Booty, go back because you're annoying now, you're naughty girl. You would just literally, I'm trying to do this one-handed, cut a piece off and sew it to the length of overhang you need. Do that on all 4 corners, and then one more in between that one and the one in the middle, and that one, the smaller one from there, I need another one from there about there, okay, and that's where the end is, just so you've got another tie down point in case it gets windy. So once you've done that, put one on each corner, okay, and the smaller one's in between where Booty's sniffing now, and you can see that's where the middle is, that's where the end is. That's it, your tarp's done. Yes, it's no more complicated than that. I noticed something in my garden when I put my first tarp up, just to give it a bit of a test, that I thought, blimey, how can I harness that? So I'm going to put this up, and there is a reason I haven't shown you these sewed on, because I need to make another modification to this. It's going to it will become more apparent later on, the next time you see me doing this, because I'm going to sew another piece of material on here, and the reason why I'm going to do that before I sew these on will become apparent as we go on. Anyway, Buddy, naughty girl. Say hello. Say woof. Ah, woof. Ah, woof. Anyway, ladies and gents, take care. Right, ladies and gents, that's the tarp I made. It's just a shade under 3 metres. 2 metres 90. Again, that's just with the hemming and so forth. Just put this up temporary in the garden. When I did my first one, the brown tarp, I had it up for like 3-4 weeks, right over the rainy season here in Braintree, where we had that much rain. We thought the country was going to sink. What I watched and observed was how much water hit this tarp, ran all the way down, and then just dropped uselessly off onto the floor. Now, in any bushcraft survival situation, one thing that's crucial to life is water. So I thought, how can I harness that water that runs off there and onto the floor? Well, you can stick mess tins all the way along, but that's just going to be a bit haffy flaffy. Again, so my little idea, and the reason I haven't sewed all the things onto the side of this tarp, i.e. my attachment point, I've just put a couple of bricks there, is I'm going to have a small strip of material that will act like a rain gutter, okay, independent of the tarp, and it's going to be sewn, so any water runs down the tarp will catch in this, and I will be able to direct that water to one side or the other side of the tarp, okay, by having one side a little bit higher than the other side. Just give it a moment. So it's going to come all the water, and that's a fair old size tarp there. It's going to hit that, roll all the way down. I'm going to have a small channel, as I said there, which I'm going to make now and so on. Having all the attachment points, by them ones, all the way along would have just made it a lot more hassle to do. So if you just want a basic tarp, sew your attachment points on, and then go outside and put it up like I have done. I've left them off. It become apparent why, because I'm going to sew a channel of material all the way down there to act like a rain gutter. I can lift this up off the air a little bit with some tent pegs or wooden stakes, so that water coming off there will hit that, and that piece of material will act like a gutter. I can have one side higher than the other and just direct it into the water, you know, in the same way as a piece of guttering along the top of your house does, into a water receptacle or collection point at either side of the tarp. So that's how I'm going to modify that tarp. Fertile idea. I've never seen it done before. If it has been done before, I've not seen anybody do it. However, I stood on many days just seeing how waterproof that original brown tarp was, just by leaving it up, letting it having a bit of a bashing, because we had some terrible storms and the winds were 60-70 mile an hour winds. So that's not a bad, if you've made something, that's not a bad idea to get out in them conditions and test it. But I saw so much water hit this tarp, run all the way down, and just uselessly go onto the floor. So that was my original MBO idea of how do I harness that water, how can I capture that and use that water. So I'm going to spend I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 hours cutting a long piece of material just to fit down the side of there, as I said, that I can raise up on one side, and that water will come off there, hit it like a rain gutter and go down to that side or that side. So I'm going to shut up now, and without further ado go and make that and attach it to this tarp and just see if the idea is feasible, because this is just all in the embryo stages of Tightwad's mind. Anyway, if you just wanted to see a tarp that I've just made, that is it. Obviously it's not put up in, it's just put up temporary, ladies and gents. So anyway, I've got some things to do and some sign up to do, so I'll see you later.